Hi there and welcome to this short video training where we're going to look at how to integrate Google Spreadsheets into your P-Distinction account. Now we're going to do this at two different levels, one at the client dashboard level and two at the group dashboard level. Now the process that we actually go through to integrate Google Sheets at any of these levels is the same, but the actual process that happens once we've integrated it is slightly different between the two, and it's important to understand the differences when we're doing these integrations. So first of all, let's take a look at how we actually integrate Google Spreadsheets into P-Distinction. And we're going to do that to start off with at the client level. So I'm going to go over to my clients. And for this example, I'm going to use our example client here inside PTD. So the spreadsheets you're going to have are going to live in the Setup tab, and they're going to be here in the coaching area. So in order to add anything into a PTD account for a client, we always go to the green Add an Item button. And inside here, we're going to select Coaching, and then we're going to go to Spreadsheet. At this point here, we can then title our spreadsheet. So I'm just going to call this Meal Planner. But of course, you can call this anything you like. And as always, you can set things inactive, live, or set date to go live. If you're not sure what these different features mean, you can hover over here and it'll give you some more information about how this actually works. For now, though, we're just going to give it a name and click Save. The moment it's going to connect to Google inside here. Now, if you haven't connected to Google already, then it's important that you follow the on-screen instructions in order to do that. It's going to ask for something called secondary authorization. So all this basically means is when you connect to Google, it's going to take you away to a Google authorization page. Just click yes and click OK to give permissions, and then it will bring you back to this page, and then you'll be able to carry on where I'm starting off from here. So now it's going to ask me if I want to add this to the schedule. As always, you don't have to add things to the schedule if you don't want to. So I'm just going to click no thanks in this case. So now we actually have our Google Sheet added in, but there's nothing inside here. We haven't added anything to this. We haven't done anything with it. So how do we actually do that? Well, the next step is to go to the drop-down menu here and click View. This will open up the actual spreadsheet that you've added in. Now you can see the spreadsheet inside here. So where does this spreadsheet actually live? Well, at the moment, this spreadsheet is actually inside your Google Drive account. So this has now been created automatically through PTD in your Google Drive account. In fact, you'll be able to find this Google Sheet if you was to go and look inside your Google Drive account. And anything you edit on here will also appear inside your Google spreadsheet as well. They'll also be inside your Google Drive. So that's all well and good if you want to build the spreadsheets inside here, but what happens if you've already got a spreadsheet you've created? So in this example over here, we have a meal planner that I've already built up that I want to use for this particular client. And I want to add this meal planner spreadsheet to the spreadsheet inside here. And the way I do that is by going over to my meal planner and taking the URL or the sharing URL for that particular planner. So to get the sharing URL, what you want to do is head to the share button over here. Now, depending whether you're using Gmail or whether you're using G Suite, which is the business version of Google, will depend on what settings you want to put inside here. But either way, what you need to do is make sure that you have the options set so that anybody with a link can either edit it or view it. Now, in order to do that, you'll change the settings down here. If we click change, you can see we can choose from anyone with a link, restricted, or anyone within our organization. So this is a G Suite account. And if you're using a G Suite account as opposed to a Gmail account, you'll need to make sure that this one is not selected and that you have this one here selected, which is anyone with a link. So it's really important that it's anybody with a link. At this point, you then have a number of settings: viewer, commentator, or editor. You're either going to need to use viewer or editor. Now, if you want your client to be able to interact with that spreadsheet, you'll need to choose editor. If you don't want them to interact with it, you just want them to be able to view it, then you can click viewer. In this example, though, I'm going to use editor. Once you've done that, you can copy that link, and this is the URL that you'll need, and then you can click done. So now you're going to head back over to your P-Distinction account, and inside here, you're going to head up to where it says import. At the top here, you can click in this box, paste in that Google Sheet, and then click import on here. Now, if something like this pops up where it says there was a problem importing your Google Sheet, it could be for a number of different reasons. One, it could be your sharing settings are not right, or it might be that your Google integration is not completed. So in order to complete your Google integration, you can close this off. And you can go up to where it says Integrate Google. This will redirect you through to that Google authorization that we talked about just a moment ago. And now what I want to do is select the account that I want to add it to, click Allow, and go through that process that I described just a few moments ago. Once your integration is successful, you'll be able to come back in here and try to add in that sheet again. So let's just try it again. We're going to go to Import, paste it inside, click Import, and this time it should work fine. And there we go. We can see now that our sheet has now appeared inside our Google account, inside our Distinction account for us to go and use with our client. Now, once it's added inside here, you can either edit it and change it however you like for the client. You can also click here to open up a new window, and this will actually open up directly inside your Google account as well if you want to edit it this way. So it's entirely up to you which way you want to edit that. At this point, then you can navigate back to your client. Now, I mentioned there's two ways to do integrations with Google Sheets inside your PTD account. One is at the client level, the client dashboard, which we're looking at now. The other is at the groups level. Now, I want to quickly talk about how it works with groups. So let's go and set one up inside a group. We're going to go to groups over here. I'm going to go and click add. I'm just going to go and set up a meal planner group. And you can call this whatever you want to. This is just because we're going to use a meal planner as an example again for our spreadsheet. So inside here, we can click OK. It'll take us through to our group. And then we're going to go and do exactly the same process as we did for our individual client, but inside a group. So we're going to go into the group, and in the setup area, we're going to add it into our coaching section here. So I'm going to click add, coaching, spreadsheet, give the name, and then click save. It's going to add in our spreadsheet, and again, it's going to do that Google process again. So once again, if it's the first time, it's going to go through that authorization process with you. And again, just click OK, make sure you allow everything that needs to be allowed, and then it will bring you back just like it did a few moments ago when I was showing it at the individual client level. So again, if you want to add this to the schedule, you can do. In this case, I'm going to say no thank you because I don't want to. And we're going to go and view our meal planner spreadsheet again inside here. So as you can see, we have our sheet inside here now ready to go. And it's pretty much the same kind of setup, apart from we have an extra option here to update for group members who have access to that particular sheet. Now, of course, if you have any issues adding this in again, just make sure you reconnect and integrate your Google again, just like we did before, if you find that you're having any kind of issues. But let's import this sheet into here. So I'm going to go to import. We're going to go place this inside here. And I'm just going to put update for current group members. It's entirely up to you whether you want to have that selected or not. It depends on the circumstances and how you're setting things up. But I'm going to have this because I want to update for current group members and click import. So it's now going to import that sheet into my PTD account and into this particular group. So here it is. So you might be thinking, if you're used to using Google Sheets, so I've now got this sheet that I've shared here from my Google account, as you can see here, and I've now added this to a group. But when you add people to a group, obviously multiple people can be added to this group, and they might want to go and interact with this particular sheet. So does that mean that when a client gets added to this particular group, they're all going to edit the same sheet? Well, no, that's not what happens. What happens with this integration with PTD is that when you add a client to this particular group, PTD will tell Google to make a duplicate, make a copy of this sheet inside your Google Drive account. And it will actually be a copy of this particular sheet that will be added to your client. So if you was to add, say, 5 clients to this particular group, there'll be 5 copies of this, and that will actually appear inside your Google Drive account. So you'll have 5 individual meal plans set up. So that means you can then go into that particular meal plan, edit it and adapt it for your client. So let's just go and take a look at how that actually works practically. So I'm going to go back over to our clients over here. And we're going to go into our example client. And I'm actually going to go and delete this meal plan that we've already added in. So that's now gone completely. So what I can do now is go to my groups, and I can go and add in my meal planner group. And click add and OK. So I've now dropped that inside here. Click closed, and my meal planner is added in and copied from this group. So if I actually go to view inside here, I can open up that meal planner. So we can see now our meal planner is inside here, and I can make any edits that I want to this particular meal planner inside here. I can change the number of days and meals they have in. It's entirely up to me what I want to do with it. So I'm changing all this inside here. Now, if I go and open this up in the new window, you can see it's opened up here with the change on this one here. But let's go and compare this to our original sheet. You can see it's still 4, and that's because it is a different version of that particular sheet. So they'll have different share links and they'll have different versions of it. Because all it's done basically is created a copy of this inside your Google Drive account. So if you're using groups, it just means that every time you add a client to it, you will get a duplicate of it. The best advice I can give you in order to try and organize this, though, is to actually manage all those sheets through your PTD account. It's a much easier way of doing it. Otherwise, you can go into your Google Drive account, you can make those edits and changes inside there. It's just easier to keep things organized by going into your client and just opening it from your client's account using this button here, then making your edits that way. It makes it so much simpler to manage if you're following that kind of process. So there you go. That's how you integrate Google Spreadsheets into PT Distinction. That's how you use them with a client at client level, and also how you would use it with a group at a group level.